Hey friends, welcome back to Stappystamper. My name is Terry Stapp and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Central Texas. This is our Sunday Stamp-Along video number 3 using the Sweet Jar stamp set. Our card that we're going to make today looks like this. Cute little fun fold card that we'll be making with the cookies this time. We've made 2 cards using the hearts, and we're going to move on and make a happy birthday card using the cookie stamps from the Sweet Jar set. Your template looks like this. These are the measurements. So the base card is 8.5 by 5.5. It's scored at 4 1/4. On the landscape layout, you're going to cut 1 inch on each side up to the score line and then glue the side flaps down. So that's what this means. You have these pieces here. You lay this on your paper trimmer. You cut here, both at 1 inch, and then you glue this flap down and glue this flap down. That leaves this center flap available to open and close. Then you have the matte pieces. So on the front, you have these 2 pieces here. If you want to put a mat underneath, that matte piece is going to be 7/8 by 4 1/8. And then you have some DSP. So I'll bring in this card here. So we have a mat here that was the pecan pie. And then the DSP I found, I think it was called Country Lane, Country something. But I was looking for something with balmy blue because I wanted to use that new balmy blue ribbon that is in the January to April catalog. So I went with balmy blue, and I found this in my stash. Now, if you want to use balmy blue as well, the product of the month for December, that blue paper, I believe also has balmy blue as one of the colors in there, so you might check that out. So these pieces here, the designer series paper, are measures 3/4 by 4. And then if you're going to use a mat on the outside, so I do have a pecan pie mat on the outside and on the inside right here. That mat measures 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. The designer series paper is 3 1/4 by 4. I chose to not use designer series paper. I did try it with this same check pattern. I didn't like it as much. It was just a little bit overwhelming. So I went with 3 1/4 by 4 basic white, and then I ran that through an embossing folder, and I think I like that much better. On the inside, we've already talked about that matte piece here. So if you did the neutral piece, so you have something to write on, this is basic white, that also measures 3 1/4 by 4. And that is it. Let's talk about the card kit. If you ordered the card kit, this is going to be the one labeled with a number 3. And let's look at your materials that you have in your card kit and put these pieces together to make your card. Now remember, I can do all of the cutting for you. I can do the die cutting. I can give you all of the pieces. I cannot do any stamping for you. So we are going to be, I'll show you how to do the stamping to put your pieces together. All right, you have, let's get these pieces organized. Here are our pieces for the outside and the inside. You have one that has been embossed for you, and then you have the one for the inside to write on. You have 2 pieces of pecan pie that are your matte pieces. You have your card base. I'm going to put these all aside. You have a large pecan pie circle, a next size basic white circle. You have a piece of balmy blue circle, and then a smaller basic white circle. You have your bow. You also have, hold on. You also have your embellishments. So you have the 3 little dots. I didn't put it in my envelope because I'm just going to use the whole sheet. I'm just going to pull this whole sheet out. These were the traditional sparkling sequins from the September to December catalog. I believe those are meant to be pool party because that is one of the colors that went with the Traditions of Christmas DSP, but I'm using it with the balmy blue and it looks just fine. So you have your bow, you have your sequins, you have 3 pieces of designer series paper. So 2 of them are the same size and 1 of them is a little bit smaller. These 2 are the ones that go on the flaps of the card that you glued down, and then your smaller one goes on the inside. You have your matte pieces in pecan pie for the flaps. You have a strip of pecan pie for the inside. And then you have your cookie jar. Oh, I'm missing my lid. I wonder if it's still in my envelope. I don't see it in my envelope. Oh, there it is. It fell out. Okay. You have your cookie jar. You have your lid. And then you have a piece that's die cut for your sentiment. All right, those are all of our pieces. Let's start putting this together. I'm going to go ahead and start with the card base, and then I'm going to pull, I feel like y'all are really, really close. I wonder if that's better. Okay, card base, and then I'm going to pull the matte pieces and then the 2 designer series paper pieces. First thing we're going to do is glue these flaps down. So I'm going to grab my adhesive and I'm going to put some adhesive here. Ooh, stuck myself to the glass mat. All right, adhesive there, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down. I'm going to put adhesive, adhesive on this side, maybe. I am having glue problems. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. Adhesive there. And then let's glue that part down. Okay, side flaps are glued down. Now let's go ahead and put our pieces together here. I'm going to switch to some liquid glue. And I'm going to put some liquid glue on the back here. Maybe. There we go. And put it on the mat here. Lovely. And then I'm going to glue this down on one of the sides of the card. So I think I'll start with this side. Nice and straight, looks great. Let's do the same thing on the other side. We're going to get our DSP. Glue this. Make sure it's nice and straight. Add some more adhesive. And I'm just going to flip it upside down so I can check my edge here. Okay, I think that looks great. You know what, since we're here, let's go ahead and just continue with the inside. I have the flap open. Let's just go ahead and do the inside. It's really comes together super quick. We're going to pull the other piece of Designer Series paper, add some adhesive. This is going to go down on the bottom. I switched it up a little bit. Normally I have a bigger strip, and then I added too much. There we go. I have a larger strip, and I glue this on top, and then we have a little border on the top and bottom, but I switched it up this time. So we're going to put our strip on the bottom there, and then I'm going to run a line of adhesive right across the top. And lay that down on top of there. I'm going to get my snips and trim this part off and trim that part off. Move my trash out of the way. Okay, find your piece of pecan pie. That is one of your mats, and we're going to put these two together. And then the inside of our card will be complete. All right. Lovely. A little bit more adhesive on the back. And then this goes right here in the middle of our card. Perfect. Inside of the card is all done. So let's talk about the outside. We have the rest of our pieces. I move my card base out of the way. We have our mat. We have our Designer Series paper, but not really Designer Series paper. It's the piece of basic white that's been run through an embossing folder. We have our circles and our jar, our sentiment strip, and our bow. So I think we should go ahead and do some stamping. Let's start with our jar. And you're going to need your sweet jar set. Now I am going to move you in a little bit closer. I'm going to pull my Memento black and my jar stamp. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to pull this here. Now once again, if you don't have the kit, so the kit, I can do the punch for you, okay? So you're going to get that piece that looks like this, and it's not stamped. I can't do the stamping for you. So you're going to have to do the best that you can to get it lined up properly. If you don't have the kit and you have the stamp set and the punch, my recommendation to you is to go ahead and stamp the cookie jar and then punch it out. You're going to be able to probably line it up a lot better that way than punching it out first. But if you have the kit, this is the way we need to have it done. Okay, next part, I do have my stamps double mounted. I have one on each side. So I'm not looking at the happy birthday. I'm looking at this piece right here. The little, we used them as hearts, but now they're going to be our cookies, kind of like in the background. So I'm going to pull that, and I'm going to pull my pecan pie ink, and I'm going to ink this up, and then I want to stamp off. This is just a piece of scratch paper right here. I don't want full strength, so I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to pull this back down and stamp here. Okay, then I want my pecan pie again, and we're looking back here at this one, the little cookies. I'm going to ink that up in pecan pie full strength and pop this over the top. Just like that. Now I'm going to put my pecan pie away before I stick my hand in it. And I'm going to get my early espresso. And now I'm looking back here. These are the, like the chocolate chips, if you're going to make a chocolate chip cookie. So I'm going to ink that up in early espresso and then put on some chocolate chips. Just like that. All right. Also we're done stamping that. There's the lid. I want happy birthday on here. So I'm going to get my happy birthday stamp and put that in early espresso. And then stamp happy birthday, hopefully. There we go. Happy birthday. And then I'm going to move that aside, and I'm going to pull my small basic white circle. This is the one where I have sending a little, and then they've left a spot, sending a little blank your way. I'm going to get that inked up in early espresso and stamp that right in the middle. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit more ink at the top. Beautiful. All right, early espresso's going away. And I'm pulling my balmy blue and my stamp that says sweetness. So I'm going to ink that up in balmy blue and put that right in the middle where that empty spot is. If you've not made a video, trying to get it lined up. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pull it down so I can see real quick. Yeah, that still didn't turn out super great, but it's going to work for our purposes. So sending a little sweetness your way. And then we're going to start putting our circles together. So I'm going to move you back up. Let's adhere these two circles together and these two circles together. I'm going to pull my liquid glue back out. Okay. And get that. Give it a little rub from the back. Now let's put these two pieces together. Just like that. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to start with this. This is going to go off the edge. Okay. And so is this. So I'm going to kind of play around with where these are going to sit on my card. So I don't want to cut off the sweetness, but I think that will work. So I'm going to kind of look here. I don't want glue right there. I'm going to kind of stay away from that corner here and then put this back down. Let's see. Right about there, I would say. I'm going to give it a rub from the back again. Okay, now I'm going to put this other circle down. It's going to overlap. Let's see about that. Uh-oh, I lost it. Okay, kind of trying to measure with my hands there. Something about like that. Let's see. Get it straight. Okay, give that a rub from the back. Now we are going to trim off the parts that are sticking out. So I'm going to grab my snips and cut that away. That. And that. Okay. Let's see how we're doing down here. Okay. Our cookie jar needs to be assembled. So pull your cookie jar and let's go ahead and put the lid on the cookie jar. And looks good like that. Then we're going to get some dimensionals and pop that cookie jar up. I'm going to use 3 dimensionals. 1, 2, 3. And the cookie jar, actually, you know what? I want to put this on my card first before I do my cookie jar. Okay, because that's going to be popped up and that's going to maybe harder to apply the adhesive. So I'm just going to do this and put this on the matte pecan pie and then put adhesive here and put this on the front flap of my card. Looks pretty good. Okay, now let's go back to the cookie jar. We have dimensionals on our cookie jar. So I'm going to peel off the back of that and kind of pop it here in the middle. Is that straight? Yes. We're going to put our bow. While I'm thinking about it and looking at my liquid glue with the pins not in it. Ooh, see, it's already started drying up. Okay, make sure your liquid glue lid is on. I'm going to grab some glue dots. Now, if you got the kit, the glue dots are not included. I don't include adhesive. So, grab your glue dots. You could use liquid glue. You could use tape runner. but I do prefer, if you have them, to adhere the bow with the glue dots. So I just put 3 glue dots kind of underneath the lid there. You have a bow, so let's take your bow and pop it right there on the lid. Super cute. And then the last thing we have, oh, nope, second to the last thing we have is our sentiment. So we have happy birthday. That is going to get glue dots and adhesive. So I'm going to pull my smaller glue dots, smaller dimensionals, and then the adhesive. So this is up on dimensionals, the cookie jar. Happy and part of birthday is going to be on the cookie jar. So I only want dimensionals on this back part right about here. So I'm going to pull my dimensionals, and then I'm going to take the back off of here, and then I'm going to put some adhesive on the front side. There we go. That way the front part, the top part, won't be flopping around. And on goes our sentiment. Happy birthday. Lovely. Okay, last thing is you have some gems. So let's use our gems. You have a large, a medium, and a small. I'm going to put the medium right up here. And then I'm going to take a large one and put it right down here. And I'm going to take a small one and put it right down there. All right. That is our Sunday Stamp Along card number 3 put together. We have one more card for our Sunday Stamp Along using the Sweet Jar stamp set for next Sunday. So come back next Sunday and watch card number 4. It will be a good luck card, and we'll be using our shamrocks to make that card. You won't want to miss it. So in the meantime, until next week, no, not happy stamping, stappy stamping.